This is Providence Television International, the game changer. Stand by for the next program.
Good day and welcome to the interview segment on the Morning Drive, Providence Television International. My name is Ugbebo Ikikwa. With me in the studio is Dr. Emmanuel Igariba. You're welcome.
Yes, always a pleasure to be here. I'm happy to be with our viewers all over the world, and it's a glorious day, I should think.
Well, for most of you, if you've actually been following our program, especially where we had the paper review this morning, it will come to your notice that the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities and the Senior Staff Union of Universities have embarked on an indefinite strike this morning. Some other organizations are gearing up seriously to embark on strikes too. Now there is a question, and that is what we'll be discussing on this segment. Strikes in Nigeria, a solution or problem? Dr. Emmanuel.
Time was when it was a solution. In the days of Wahab, in the days of... let me not even mention names.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But time was when it was really a solution. And that was when government was listening to labor unions and to labor leaders, as it were. Now, over time, the labor movement has boxed itself into a corner. And we're beginning to have all kinds of apprehension. People are even accusing them of hobnobbing with government officials with the hope of having some financial gains, and things, which to me is not good enough, because they should be completely isolated from all this. They're the labor leaders, okay? The suspicion really is that they tell the workers or the public something, and then they go right back to do something else, and they begin to tell you, oh, we're going to have the mother of all strikes and things like that. Whereas there have been some kind of compromise. Nigerians have grown used to that over years. So, but as far as this issue is concerned, it could easily have been a solution.
Okay.
Because it will now force government to listen very critically to the voices of the people, all right? And particularly the workforce. But what have we found over time? Government will come to a roundtable conference with the labor leaders. At the end of the day, you have screaming headlines, meeting with the federal government. And it has happened. I'm sure you have seen it yourself. Meeting with the federal government, deadlocked.
Yeah.
Screaming headlines. Deadlocked. First time, second time, third time. Right. So I should think that, yes, it should be a solution. But now it's more of a problem. It's more of a problem. But look at what is happening now. SANU, NASU, going on strike. Very soon NASU will join them.
NASU will join them, yeah.
And very soon the health workers, they're also gearing up for a fight. The health workers across the country. Meaning that if they succeed, the university system will be shut, the health sector will be shut. And that is not a plus for any government. However, the solution to all of this is that government must listen. Yes, government must listen without even having to make the labor leaders compromise on one or two issues.
Okay.
Right. Both parties should come out clean. In favor of the workers, they should come out clean. I mean, there's no reason to go around the corner and to shortchange the system. No, why? Why? Somebody used to say in those days, one of the labor leaders who is so prominent now at the federal level, he will tell the people something, and he will go, maybe in the night, he will hobnob with government. And he will come back and say, oh, yes, we are going on strike, murder or 4 strikes and things, for maybe 2-3 days. Typically, let me just say this. I mean, it happened. Government wants to increase the price of fuel, maybe from 40 naira to 60 naira. That's the intention of government. For instance, the labor people will go and tell government, let's put it at 100 naira. so that through the period of negotiations, we can now come back to 60 naira, which was the original intention of government.
Okay.
So who is fooling who?
Okay.
Yes, we've seen that in this country. They will shout to high heavens, murder of us strike, this will be the last, this, all kinds of comments. But they have both agreed in between that the price will be 60 naira.
Okay.
Right. But they will tell you, our government will say, oh no, it's 100 naira, nothing can stop us, it must be 100 naira. The labor leaders know that the benchmark will be about 60 naira. So they will say, oh, we are negotiating. At the end of the day, they come to the middle. Then they will tell you, oh, we have won. The government has been able to concede. Whereas that was the original intention. And it goes on and on and on. It's not good enough.
Okay.
Both parties should come out clean because the people at the receiving end are the workers. But one thing I find strange, when the labor movement is going on strike, it concerns only the workers in public service. What of the workers who are in private service? People who are even privately employed. The benefits that accrue from all these negotiations, how do they meet the demands of people who do not work for government? And in any case, we've done this, statistics are there, that people who work in public service, they are probably about 10% of the entire population. So what happens to the rest? So my advice is when labor is even fighting for workers, let us realize that workers are not just those who work for government. They're all over the place. There are workers, short, small businesses, for instance, people employing 4, 5, 6, maybe 10, 20 people, small and medium-scale enterprises. What happens to them? Nobody. We are talking about 70,000 now. What are the cushioning effects for people in the private sector? Nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely. No relief. Yes, no relief for them. So it's a major issue, and I guess it will go on for quite some time, as long as there's insincerity on both sides.
Insincerity on both sides. And that brings me to my next question. The leaders of not just the Labour Party, these unions, the organizations, is there presently a state of non-representation, actually, of the interests of their groups? Because like you rightly said, what would be the need for these unions to exist if at the end of the day there's always this pally between them and the federal government?
Because they want to line their pockets, unfortunately. They want to line their pockets. Okay? That's the primordial thing in all of this. That's why I said there must be sincerity. There must not be any degree of subterfuge, tricks. No, there shouldn't be. Come straight and come clean.
And could this be the reason why the federal government doesn't take these unions seriously anymore?
Okay. Don't you see the social media? That's what everybody says, even on the pages of newspapers. That's why, in fact, when they want to go, except perhaps ASU.
Okay.
Yes. But when NLC is calling people out for a strike, it's taken with a pinch of salt. Because they know that at the end of the day, they are not going to be tenacious in their moves. They won't be. After 2-3 days, they now relax. They come back to tell the same people, okay, now government has succeeded. This will shock you. When the issue of 70,000 or whatever was raging, Labour was talking about 300,000.
Exactly.
Or 250,000. And because they knew that government would not be able to afford that. It's not as if they cannot, truly speaking, but they knew from what is on ground that they will not be able to afford that. And they now went into closed-door meetings. Between them, they discussed about... Don't forget that government initially talked about 60,000 or 62.
Yes.
Labour was able to raise it up. Why didn't you tell the people ab initio that we are going forward to stick with 70,000 rather than say 250,000? You raise up the hopes of workers only for you to come down so low as 70,000. So that's the problem we have in this country. And don't forget that even the NLC president was saying the other day that they have been boxed into a corner.
Exactly.
That they didn't realize ab initio that this was the plan of the federal government. Because the federal government approved 70,000. The next day they raised up the price of fuel.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Labour Congress was embarrassed. How they are able to wriggle out of that now is their problem. A very big problem for them.
We'll deviate a little. Talking about the strikes and all that. But let us go into, because you just raised a very sensitive issue. This continuous increase in minimum wage, is it really viable? Because anytime there's an increase in minimum wage, things shoot up.
You know my take on this. I'll tell you. And this was I've discussed with some of my very good friends. even professors from the universities. And on every occasion, they agreed with me. Why must government even announce that they are going to increase?
Okay.
Because once you do, it goes into the public domain. Market women will hear from radio and television. They will say it in the newspaper. And immediately that happens, prices go up. It is not, look, let me tell you this. It is not the increase in salaries that counts. No, it is the increase in allowances, which should be totally different from the entire package.
Okay.
For instance, if you add a little to housing, a little to transportation, are you listening?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
And a few other peripherals, without touching the essential package, people will be happy. As a matter of fact, workers will be happier if at the end of the month they realize that something has been added to their salary. They won't make noise. The market woman will not know. But quietly something has been added. Yes, unknown to people. But this time, because of politics, you add one kobo, you want to shout to high heavens for political gains. Oh, we have done it for workers, we have done this. Whereas you are creating more problems for the workers.
Exactly.
Okay? You are creating more problems for them because the market, there will be market forces. The market woman, even the landlords, now they have increased because they will know.
Yes.
If the man was paying for a room, if he was paying maybe about 6,000 or 7,000, say, okay, for now you are going to be paying 10,000.
Yes.
A house that was built in the 40s, it will increase it. He will ask you, don't you know the price of cement? As if it's a new house. We've talked about this before. Yeah, but that is Shylock attitude. And again, it's because they have heard. The best thing for government to do, be silent.
Okay.
Be silent on increase, but make sure that the workers at the end of the month, they see something quite meaningful.
All right.
As far as their pay is concerned.
Okay. Coming back to the issue of strikes, we know that the health sector is gearing up. Health workers are gearing up now seriously for a strike. Now, should there be some people that actually the law should make exempt from strike? Like we know that the police can't go on strike. But are medical doctors, health workers, supposed to go on strike?
Ideally, they should, because what they do has to do with life. But again, they go to the same market. That's the excuse they always give. Yes. And that, in fact, is the reason why they are even leaving the country in droves. Okay? They also have a right to enjoy the good life. Doctors, nurses, for example. Yes. The Socratic oath will tell us that, doctors must save life first. But when you make them work like slaves, they have families, they have children to look after, they have to pay school fees, they have to buy things from the market. They will tell you, we are also Nigerians. Okay? And coupled with the fact that most of the hospitals we have, the equipment are not even there. So they work under very strenuous conditions. Usually, I don't know if now, but usually in those days, doctors used to fight for facilities. Not just increase in salaries, because they want to work. That's what it means. But now they also want to enjoy the good life because they see their counterparts in other parts of the world enjoying the good life. They also want to take a big chunk of it. So those who cannot go on strike, they don't want to parley with their colleagues who want to go on strike. They find their way out of this country, and they don't want to come back. That is my personal pain. Most of the professionals we are losing, nurses, doctors, engineers, computer people, they don't want to come back. Why? Because the environment to them is hostile, sufficiently hostile, and you can't blame them. You can't.
Well, we could go on and on and on. But do you think that, on a final note, sir, that there's going to be an end to the incessant strikes in this country?
There will be an end as far as there's no sincerity on both sides. That's what I said initially. Once there's sincerity, once there is good sense, and once there's necessary attention given to details, we won't have strikes. In any case, I said in one of my books that once you don't have issues that have to do with the strangulation of the rights of workers, they don't go on strike. Typically, let me give you an example. In Edo State, for instance, since Obaseki came in, that I know very well because I've interviewed the labor leaders, there has not been any work stoppage. No work stoppage in Edo State. There have been strikes in other states. But in Edo State, no work stoppage. Why? Because attention is given to details. And the Labour people are happy. Once there is good governance, again, this is one of the attributes of good governance, there will be less friction between the government and the labor unions. And then there will be room for satisfaction, on all sides. People will not want to go on strike. Why? The labor people are human beings. The reason, yes. Okay? So, but when you now have them being boxed into a corner, that's when problems arise. I'll be happy to see that for a whole year, for instance, there's no work stoppage. And it is possible. It is possible. We have examples to draw from developed countries. It's only once in a while you have maybe bus drivers or whatever, they're going on strike. And before they do, they have reached their wit's end. So that will be the only option left. But in this country, every little thing you want to go on strike. And that's because government is not giving enough ears to their demands. Of course, there will be demands. Nearly always. There will always be demands anyway. So, but it depends too on how labor is going to how labor is able to maneuver in between in their discussions with government. Because you must give government the true picture. I just gave an example. Raising the bar to about 350,000, in fact, up to 1 million at one point. How do you want government to listen to you? Although, quite frankly, when you see the way people are living, their lifestyle in Abuja, you want to also get your own piece of the action. All right. Which is normal. But government will tell you that there are problems here, there are problems there, there are problems there. I, for one, would want a situation where members of the National Assembly, we cut down so much on their own salary because they seem to be the beacon. They're receiving, if the senator is receiving 21 million or thereabout on a monthly basis, what of the workers?
Exactly.
Ordinary workers who are toiling on a daily basis. But the tragedy is that the labor leaders will go round and forget about the interests of the workers they represent. It is unfortunate, though. It is unfortunate. And that's not good enough. They have been accused many times of shortchanging the interests of the people. That's why when they call out people for a strike, how many people listen? Yes. Exactly. It's a pity.
Well, we hope that things actually do get better in this nation.
Honestly, I hope so. I hope so because we don't need to go on strike. We don't need to. Government should play its part creditably. Labor too should be up and doing. In terms of certain requests. All right? So, I think it's possible for government and labor to work harmoniously.
Okay.
Yeah, it is quite possible. There is no subterfuge. There should be no subterfuge from any of the two parties. There should be no tricks. Sincerity is the word, and honesty of purpose. Okay. So when they have all of this, there will be no work stoppage because nobody profits by it.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, viewers out there, for being with us. But I know that just before we go, Dr. Egariba, as usual, has a parting shot for us. The
parting shot is not much. I just want to say that people should learn to obey rules and regulations. I was coming this morning to the office, and one crazy motorist was driving against the traffic. And it was not necessary. Guess what happened? He almost had a head-on collision with a trailer.
Wow.
Yes, he had to go into a corner. And it's a pity that we didn't have fatalities. Yes, it's fortunate that we didn't have fatalities. Otherwise, for a thing like that. And yet, what irked me was that there were traffic management people around. They didn't even caution him.
Wow.
There were even some road safety people around.
Wow.
After that incident, they should have apprehended him, I guess. But they were just left off the hook.
No.
And not quite long after that, one of these commercial buses was racing on the same path. So it's like we were back to the Stone Age, where people would just do things the way they like. If I were the governor, if I had my way, this, what do they call tuke or whatever, I would ban them. No, I would ban them because if I don't, then I will subject them to psychiatric tests.
Exactly.
Yes, if you don't pass it, then you don't handle the wheel.
Mm.
That's it. Because the things that some of them do, and by the way, they don't even reckon with the lives of the passengers.
The passengers.
No,
at
they
all.
don't. They
Very,
just,
very true.
and with impunity, they race facing the oncoming traffic on the wrong side of the road.
Yes.
And you know, a law, you say strict liability offenses.
Mm.
If something happens, you fix the other car. You also fix your own.
Yes.
So in two ways, you lose.
Mm.
Yes, but they don't realize that. And I think that this is the reason why law enforcement agents should be up and doing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much once again for coming. And so, viewers out there, like I said, thank you for being with us. Remember, tell your friends, tell your family, tell all those you know about Providence Television International. Simply go to YouTube and just type in Providence Television International. And like my boss would always say, you're good to go.